In this video, I'm going to take you through how to create and set up a Google site. To start us off, I'm here at sites.google.com. I've logged in with my Google account, and I'm going to click the Create button over here on the left. This will take me through a series of pages that lets me put in some details about my site and select a template to determine how it's going to look. First up, I'm going to select a template. I actually don't recommend you use this classroom site one that first comes up. It's very complicated and has an awful lot of functionality in it. By all means, if you're that keen, go to it, but to start off with, choosing a simple template is often an easier way to go. So I've clicked on Browse Gallery for more. I'll pick one from the list that'll come up. There's a few different categories. I'll dive into schools and education. And I'm just going to pick a very simple looking one. So really the templates give you a look and feel to a site, but they also give you a number of sort of default pages. You can change and customize them as you go, but it's nice to start off with something that's a little bit simple and go from there. So I like the look of these little bubbly things on this Math Classroom website, so I'll grab that one and select. So that's now been applied. I need to come up with a name for my site, so I'm going to call it Miss Curtis's Geography Site. What will happen is as you type in a name, Google will suggest a URL to go with it. It can be a little bit long, so I'm actually going to cut it down and just make it Ms. Curtis Geog. So that means that is the overall URL or web address that I'll need to give my students to get to the site. If I keep going down, I can fine-tune the look and feel of my site a bit more by choosing a theme that will further change how the site actually appears. So a few different looks and feels. I'll just go with a nice simple one there. And as I go down further, there's a few more options that I can use. A site description is a tagline that goes underneath the heading of your site. Nothing special. And then finally, a little graphical captcha to prove that you are not a robot, which I'm not. Once you're happy with it all, click on Create. So this is what the site looks like once it's created. Pretty basic. I've got a few sample bits of navigation across the top and then some dummy content in the middle, which I'll delete in a little while. So first up, I want to show you a few other configurations you can do with the site. They're all under More up here on the right hand side. So I'll click on that. And I'm going to go under Site Actions. I'm going to go into Manage Site first off to show you what you can do in there. And this is where you can change the site name, the description, see how much storage you're actually using already. You can actually publish sites as templates, so you could create a site that is a sort of an outline or a template for a class activity, publish it with a term that the students can recognize, and then they can grab your template and use it to complete a task or an assignment. You can change how it is picked up in Google search engines and a few other different tools to make it more accessible through Google search. This is an important one down here under Access Site Settings. You can choose who can see the site. So you can limit it to just people that you invite, called collaborators, or you can make it publicly viewable. If it's publicly viewable, anyone who has access to it on the web can look at it, but of course they can't edit it. Another thing I'll show you in here is sharing and permissions. And this is important if you want to allow other people to edit the site with you. This is useful if you are giving access to some parts of it to students to edit, or also if you're working on a site with a number of colleagues. So anyone who is going to be invited to edit does need to have a Google account. Once you know what their Gmail address is or their Google account address is, you can type it in and decide what permissions you want to give them, whether they can edit or whether they're full owner, which means they can invite other people to edit and they can manage the site. I'm going to just keep it as edit for this one, share and save, and now that person will have an email with a link allowing them to access it. Another thing you can do in terms of sharing and allowing people to edit content in a Google site is enable page level permissions up here on the right. Really useful if you want the site as a whole to stay quite static, but you want to maybe give students or individual teachers access to particular pages to edit. So if I turn on page level permissions, what I'll then see is a list of all of the pages in my site. So at the moment there's just those 3 default ones, and I can decide who I want to edit each individual site, or individual page, sorry. So if I just want that page to be edited, I can click on change and apply custom permissions so I can add particular users to that page. So if I save that, what that lets me do is limit who can access and edit this particular page, sorry, who can edit. So if I don't want that additional user to be able to edit this page, I just make that view only and they won't be able to change it. So another thing you can do from under Manage Site is make changes to the themes, colors, and fonts. Over here on the left, I'll click on that. So if you don't happen to like the theme that you chose when you set it up, you can change it here by clicking Browse More Themes and going through the full list of themes again. But if you want to make just a few little tweaks and changes to the theme that you did select, you can do so with this menu here. So you can select a range of different themes from here that change the color and layout of text. And you can make very fine-grained edits to particular areas within the site as well. So if you want to change the site header color, change the heading or the color of the title text, so on mine where it says Miss Curtis's Geography site, I can change the color, font, all of that kind of stuff here. So that's getting a little bit fancier in how you set up your site, but once you are done with all of that, you're ready to start adding pages and creating content, which I'll show you in the next video.